Good evening, YouTube. This is Kaylin Strain coming at you with my regular Sunday night stream. And tonight, I have a US MRE packed in 2019. This came from foreignmre.com. And I'll show you the date code. It's hard to get it to focus, but this is 2019. Doesn't want to focus, but it's 2019 pack. And this little slice is what I did when I was opening up the package. And it did not have another layer underneath the outer wrapping, but the good thing about this one, even though it's a Sapaco, it has an inner bag that protected the contents. Let's see, we got Angry Blacksmith in the House, Southern Ohio Prepping, Curious Pete, the Camp Patton Family Compound. So we've got a few others will be drifting in because the Ration Museum stream is just now wrapping up. So this one is the barbecue beef. It's a beef shredded in barbecue sauce. So I'm interested to see what all they put with that. Just trying to make sure I'm getting my there we go. This one actually opened up the way I hoped it would. See, it has this inner wrap. And I'll just use this bag for a trash bag like I always do. Here's James Ortiz in the house. Sorry about the shaking. That's my phone mount that does that. See, this is like what AmeriQual does. They put all the stuff inside of an inner wrap before putting it in the bag. There is Gray Man Prepping. So right off the top, that's my foreignmre.com spork right there. This is the beef in barbecue sauce. And then underneath that is the sleeve. There's another card. Shredded beef in the barbecue sauce. So this has the nutritional info and ingredients. And then there's another card for black beans in seasoned sauce. So that will be coming up shortly as I dig through this. Got the barbecue sauce packet. There's an oatmeal cookie, a big one. I see Puppy Breath in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Orange drink powder. This is one of those that goes in 12 ounces of water. And then here's another packet. Cheese spread with jalapenos. And then here is the black beans. So it's a good thing I put a bigger pot on my stove, because I will have both of these to put in there. Got the long spoon, which I don't use. I save these, but I use my foreign MRE spork. Here's a flameless ration heater. It's hard to get 2 retorts in there and still have it work. Plus, I save all these anyway. And then here is the accessory packet. Beverage bag, which I don't use, but I save all these. These are great storage bags, by the way. Then the last item in here plain tortillas. I'm just going to stick this thing inside of the bag. There is My Aussie Garden. Monday, probably early Monday morning there. So thanks for dropping in. I'm going to open up this accessory packet. Seem to have put a long one in there for some reason. Got the usual rear roll. The Splenda sweetener instead of sugar. Got a moist towelette. Got a packet of salt. Coffee creamer. And the Bill's Brew coffee. And the peppermint gum. I'm just moving aside the things that I won't be using. The cheese spread, I'm actually going to save this. There's Dub C in the house, thanks for dropping in. So I will not be using this cheese spread. And I think I'm going to have a little fun with this one. So I am going to drop those in my foreign MRE mug. This is my drinking jar. There's Rachel Sunshine in the house. See how orange that powder is. I think I'll call that about 12 ounces, give or take a milliliter or 3. Sometimes these drink powders can be a bear to mix up. So when I'm doing ones like this, I usually do the cold drink first so I give it more time to dissolve. And I'll usually end up giving it another stir anyway. See, I'm just scrolling up. Wyoming in the house. Thanks for dropping in. I think that'll be good enough for now. I will put that back there. This Bill's Brew is just your basic instant coffee. There are better ones out there. Some of these artificial sweeteners I have issues with, and I'll just leave it at that. But I'll go ahead and put the Splenda in here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these two to the kitchen and ooh, some of that powder went everywhere. I'm going to get rid of that real quick. I'm going to take these into the kitchen. I'll put these in the hot water, and then I will bring back my kettle for the coffee. This barbecue sauce, I have to see what the beef looks like to decide if I want to use this barbecue sauce or if I want to save it for another day. But I'm going to go ahead and get these in the water and I'll be right back. I just took the kettle back into the kitchen. These titanium sporks and the foreign MRE mug you can get along with these US MREs at foreignmre.com. So I will put that back there. Let's see, someone else has dropped in. Just checking the chat. Mike is in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Looks like we're having ourselves a party. But this is just an oatmeal cookie. It's not a chocolate chip or chocolate chunk. I'll go ahead and put that right there. No oxygen absorber in there with the cookie. Other than the tortillas, there's really not much else to open up, but I had a thought. I wasn't sure what bread would be in here. So I wasn't sure if there would be tortillas or something like this wheat snack bread. But then I thought, you know what? I am going to do something a little different. I still have one of these Canadian hamburger buns. So instead of the tortillas, I'm actually going to make a barbecue beef sandwich. And there is Rachel Sunshine dropping that super chat. It says, love our Sunday group, Kaylin. Thank you, everyone, for the always enjoyable chat. So you're welcome. So I'm going to go ahead and open up this hamburger bun. You do get an oxygen absorber with these when you get these in a Canadian ration. Now this one did get a little bit smashed, but I think it'll be just fine. I'm just going to carefully pick it open. You do not always cut through these all the way through. But if you're careful with it, you can coax it so it's almost... Oh, that didn't quite work, but it'll still work for what I want to do. So I'll just have that be the bottom. But it's very crumbly, as you can tell. There's no other, there's a side, but it's in the pot. I'll just shove those crumbs up under there. So I will be putting the black beans in this area as well. So I have the barbecue sauce, but I will just leave it in the packet. And these are pretty loose. If it's cold, the cheese will get a little bit hard, and you would have to warm it. But I'm not using this cheese spread, so I will save it for another time. There's still plenty of the powder that hasn't been dissolved in the drink mix, so I'm giving that another stir. I'm just scrolling back through the chat just to see if there's anything that I missed. Nope, doesn't look like I missed anything. Nope, the only earworm that I would really have an interest in would be the... If you've ever listened to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, there's something called a Babel fish. And that Babel fish went into someone's ear, and it would be like the universal translator, that equivalent to Star Trek's universal translator. But that's the Babel fish and not an actual worm. I just took a sip of the coffee. That Splenda, it has a bit of an aftertaste like most of the artificial sweeteners do, so I can pick that up through, even with the creamer and the coffee. You know, that taco filling one, that one would have to have these. And it would have to have this. But I'm going to go ahead and break up this cookie. It's a pretty thick cookie. I'm going to go and take a bite of it. I can taste cinnamon in there. And that makes it good because it tastes better than just a plain oatmeal cookie when they put cinnamon in there. A typical artificial orange drink, but it does the job. Yeah, it could do with some raisins, but having the cinnamon in there, that definitely helps. And of course, you could always dip it in the coffee. That would be one thing you can do to of course, that will soften it up, so you got to dip it fast. You don't want to leave this in the coffee because it'll just fall apart. No, it's not PB&J. This is a Canadian bun that I've decided to use instead of the tortillas, which came out of the ration bag. This is barbecue sauce. This is a shredded beef. And they put in jalapeno cheese spread, but I'm not going to use that. Booger Butt is in the house. As I've said, I have been alternating between what I would call a wet pack ration and a freeze-dried one. But I've already said that, when I was doing the Minotaur mystery box last week, that I said that I would do the Russian ration, the Booger Butt sent me, so I'm going to stick to that. I haven't quite figured out if it's a 24-hour ration or just a single meal. I'm guessing it's just a single meal because it feels pretty weighty. It feels like it's got wet pack items in it instead of dry. So I'm just going to, at the size of the box, I'm just going to treat it like a single meal ration. And I go with it like that, but that box is cool. Let's see, in fact, while I wait for those to heat up some more, I'll get that box and I'll show you what it looks like. This cool camo box with a handle. Oops, sorry about that. And the handle's underneath the plastic wrap. So this is all the info on the front of the ration. Oh, that's cool. Now this one, was packed in November of 2019. And it has a best buy of October of this year. So, like I said, I'm assuming based on the size and the weight of it that this is a single meal. Well, I'm glad someone is going to have a vacation. But the first week in August, I will be out of town. Yeah, that really sucks, Rachel, that someone wants to do you guys dirty like that. I'm going to go ahead and put this box back in my ration box. So again, I will open up this little goodie next week. But I am going to keep this box because this is really cool. I am back. I'm going to push this over here. I got my 2 pouches. Got a paper towel to dry them off. And that's a bugger. Okay, this is the black beans. Oop, wrong side. That came out a bit of a mess. It's a lot soupier than I expected for the black beans. Let's see, check this. That's okay. Thanks for dropping in. You can always catch it on the replay. I have the beef pouch, and that is going to be, I'm drying that off. What I'm actually thinking of doing, well, this might actually be too big. I don't know, this might... This might work. But instead of using the tear notch with this, I'm going to go ahead and cut this across this way. I'm going to put some of this I'll go get that out of the way. So I have some of the beef right here, and I put some of it on the bun. I'm going to go ahead and take a taste of this by itself. I've actually had this main before. See, it's shredded like it's pulled. So it's already in a lot of sauce, as you can see. So I don't think I'm going to need this barbecue sauce at all. So I will actually hold on to this and add this to my condiment collection. There's black beans. They're in a chili sauce. So it's a totally different flavor profile than the beef. I didn't put all that much on there, and it's coming off the backside. Yep, this will be messy, but I don't care. But this barbecue beef is actually pretty good. I like this main. It's just one of the messier ones. But I'm sure the soldier out in the field, if they like barbecue, I'm sure they probably would be excited to get this one. Unless they've had it several times in a row. $20.19, menu 2. Yep. Yep, it is a legit shredded beef. It's not like a heavily processed ground beef. So some of the bits will be bigger than others. I am going to, it's all going to get mixed up anyway, but I'm going to try to get some of the beef and some of the beans This flavor is kind of weird together, I think, but the flavors will start to cancel each other out. The barbecue sauce is more sweet, whereas the black bean sauce is a chili sauce. I'm just scrolling back. Oh, speaking of sausages, my camping trip last month, I cooked halal beef sausage that I took with me. And because it was really thick, I tried to cut it in half. I didn't cut it very even, but it still worked. See, this menu, I think they really could have put a bun in here instead of a couple of tortillas, or maybe 2 buns. Oh, I haven't had good pierogi in a long time. But the only brand that I know of, as far as the pre-made pierogi, is a Mrs. T. Oh, although I like those and I've had them before, they just are not as good as homemade. I just had to go ahead and finish off that sandwich before I make an absolute mess of myself. And of course, I'll finish off the rest of it. Now these black beans would be good with the taco filling or the chicken burrito bowl, or so if you had rice. I mean, I would put this over rice. And if the sauce weren't so thin, I would actually put these beans inside of a tortilla. Actually, I think I'll get this better in frame. You mean Mom's Meals? Oh. Now, when my maternal grandmother was alive, she lived in a Polish neighborhood in Omaha. And there is a large Polish section of that city. And there are quite a few different shops that specialize in Polish meats like kiszka, kielbasa, some other ones I don't know the Polish words for. I would have to look all those up, and a lot of those are combination meats or they're pretty much pork, so I would not eat those. But they are, I wish I knew the name of those. But there's two that are owned by brothers. Each brother owns one, and they run them independently. So they're sort of competing against each other, but they're in different areas of the city. But they do a lot of these, like deli meats and things like that. Very, very popular in Polish neighborhoods. There are a lot of people who go to those. Oh, wow. That would be an awesome meetup for you two. Yeah, you get a legit Philly cheesesteak in Philly. I think that's the best way to get them. Just like here in Iowa, you don't get a real made right unless you come here to Iowa to get it. A made right is a chain restaurant that does what's called a loose meat sandwich. It's basically seasoned ground beef, but it's not in a sauce. It's just put on a bun, a hamburger bun. Yeah, you don't have anything like a manwich or chili sauce on it. But if you're into that loose meat type, a thing that's not in a sauce, come to Iowa and look for a made right location. But I think you can also look up recipes for the seasonings and how to make that sandwich. The pork cutlet is also very popular, just like the tenderloin. Of course, the key to any meat is just cooking it the best way that you can to get the best flavor out of it. tell you, this barbecue beef is really good. Let's see, check what... Oh, that sounds good, James. I love a good corned beef sandwich, too. Yeah, the cabbage, corned beef and cabbage is, a lot of people like to make that on St. Patrick's Day. And in fact, one of my sisters did that. So we got together and had that. My late dad's side of the family does have some Irish. So we allow that to come out once in a while. No doubt. I bet there is some killer food in Philly besides the cheesesteaks. I bet you can get good seafood there too, if you're into that sort of thing. Outside of Des Moines here, we have a place called Living History Farms, and right next to that is a restaurant called the Machine Shed. And there's 4 on MRE.com dropping that super chat, dropping a greeting as well. Thanks for dropping in. So, the barbecue beef, I put some of it on a Canadian hamburger bun instead of using the tortillas. Wow. You're busy, Mike. Yeah, as I was saying, the Machine Shed specializes in the type of food that would have normally been served in like the late 1800s, early 1900s. Let's see, Chicago is in the house. Nope, not tortellini tonight. This is 2019 pack menu 2. Shredded beef and barbecue sauce with black beans. And the black beans are in a chili sauce. Yep, this is, as you can see, the hanging, it's shredded or pulled beef. And the barbecue sauce is kind of a sweet sauce. Let's see if I can get just the black beans. The black beans are in a chili sauce. So it's definitely leaning towards the savory. So they are getting mixed together. So the savory and the sweet kind of neutralize each other somewhat. But it still works. Yeah, I have 2 different colors of light bulbs in my ceiling fan. If I do this, then you get a truer sense of the color of the cookie. But the oatmeal cookie has cinnamon in it. The only thing I don't like about this ration is the fact that they put Splenda in the accessory kit instead of real sugar, but I'll still drink this coffee. I just don't like the aftertaste that the Splenda gives. Plus, as I said earlier, some of the artificial sweeteners do something to me that I don't like, and I'll just leave it at that. Yep, the cinnamon definitely amps up the flavor of the cookie. And it's sugar dusted like a sugar cookie would be. Oh, bugger, Mike. That's a real crapper. I hope you can revive that. See, down here, fruit trucks have been allowed to roam the streets for a few months. I think since May. But if you still have that food truck, I hope you can still make it work, because that way you can take food to the people. You can go to events. For instance, if you had it here in Iowa, you could be near the state fair when we have that starting August 12th. We did not have the state fair last year because of the big nasty. Yeah, they are gaining in popularity here too. There is one that parks near a couple blocks from my doctor's office that I would like to hit up, but I just haven't done that yet. Because it used to be a different one that parked there in this empty lot that I used to hit up once in a while, but since they changed to a different one and I no longer live in that immediate area, I haven't tried this other one. But it offers a similar type of food, you know, Mexican or similar type of street food. But besides the Mexican style, we do have some Asian ones, although I don't know where they usually go. And I'm not sure what other ones there are. There may be some that offer like more of an American style, or they might have Italian ones, I don't know. A lot of them are out away from the downtown area, which is where I usually hang out. Although there is one that sometimes parks near a restaurant that I've been going to that I have been using gift cards to. It's a few blocks away from there. But I don't know what kind of food it has. And there also has been a sweet corn stand there. But I have not done any of that. I don't know if they just sell it for you to take home and you cook it yourself, or if you can get it already cooked. I don't know. I go buy it on a bus, and I'm usually focused on something else. I have not had good empanadas in a long time. I used to kind of fantasize about doing a halal Polish with pierogi and halal meats and things like that, but because I'm not that good of a cook, plus I would have to have a driver, so I just never bothered to go with that. I love barbecue beef ribs. They're smoked and they're cooked low and slow. And then when they're finally done, they just fall right off the bone. That is when they're at their best. Yeah, I'm thinking about barbecue ribs right now, but that won't be on the menu around here. For one thing, the price of meats lately is just bonkers. When I bought some meats at Hillel that I showed in my grocery haul, I paid about $1 more for each one of those, except for the hot dogs. They're not really all that expensive, but like the ground beef and even the beef bacon, the other beef strips and the turkey bacon, they're a little bit more expensive. But the ground beef was about $1 more than I've paid for that in the past. Plus, I have a very small freezer. And I have things in there besides meats. I have Have onions in there. I got butter in there. I have some cheese in there. I got freezer packs in there. And believe it or not, I save meat fat. When I'm trimming fat off of meat, or say if I cook my beef bacon and I get all that, the fat that renders out, I save that. Because that, I can cook with that instead of oil. And last year, or earlier this year, there was a jar of yeast at my mosque that no one had been using, so I brought it home. I literally tested some of it, put it in water. It actually started to bloom. So the rest of it, I put in a Mylar bag and put it in my freezer. And then those yeast packets that I bought, I put those in a Ziploc bag, and those are in my freezer. So that yeast that was in the mosque was actually it was kept in a cabinet, so it was not exposed to light unless someone opened up that cabinet. But because it still started to do its thing when I had put it in water. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and save it. I have flour stored up in smaller bags, so like maybe no more than a gallon or a half, like say if I have a gallon bag, but I only have enough to fill half of that bag, I'll cut the bag off and then seal it up, and then I'll use that cut portion of that bag to seal up something small. So I'm not wasting any of that Mylar bag. So I've done that. Yep, that's why I saved that. I have beef fat, I have some lamb and goat fat, and I got some chicken fat and even some turkey fat because I had turkeys. I had 2 turkey quarters. Like the whole turkey that was frozen was just literally sawed up while it was still frozen and then re-bagged. So I got 2 of those turkey quarters and I put those in my slow cooker. And cook them that way with some veggies. Oh yeah, when I have some deer meat in my freezer also, so when I cook that, I add a little butter, or I may throw some of that other meat fat that I've saved in the pan to cook that. Because one of my packs of deer meat is like just chunks and then the other is ground. Yep. But this deer meat that I have is actually mule deer. it's I think it's a mule deer. When Tack went hunting in Utah, she got a mule deer, and that's a different species of deer than, say, like the whitetails that we're familiar with around here. So she got one of those, and she actually butchered it up there so that she could bring the meat home in the coolers. And so I have some of that, and then my mom has some of that. So some of that was made into a sausage with some pork. So I gave those sausages to my mom, and she really enjoyed them. Yeah, yep. So Utah, probably Colorado, Idaho, Wyoming, those places. I bet Gil has seen a mule deer or three. Well, at least you tried it. I've never tried that, so I don't know what it's like. But I would love to try it. I've had bison meat before. I really do enjoy that. I've never... See, I think the only elk I've had was like in the form of a meat stick. But just to have it straight up, I've never had, and I've never had just straight up elk meat before. I would love to. Some people are probably not into some of that gamey flavor, but some really enjoy it. Yeah. And my sisters don't like deer meat. They're not keen on eating it, but my mom and I really love it. And so, because now Tech and my mom have connected on Facebook after my mom commented on one of my pictures, Tech had offered to share some of her deer meat with my mom by way of me, so done that a few times, and that helps my mom keep meat in her freezer so that she'll be sure to have enough protein. My sisters do her grocery shopping for her. They take her list and her debit card, do the shopping, bring the stuff back. And, if there's something that isn't on the list, and my sisters let her know. Say, you want to substitute this? or they because my mom does not drive and she does not walk very well. They make sure that she gets her groceries. Yeah, that would be an issue. The best way would be dry ice. And you would probably have to express it. Well, I pretty much ate everything that I'd planned on. The tortillas will be saved for later. Yeah. And the key is you want to keep it frozen until you're ready to pack it, and you want to get it shipped off. It'll cost you a pretty penny to do it, but if you do want to ship meat, then dry ice would be the best way to go. And you can always get some advice from people who do that sort of thing all the time about the best way to do it. That's okay, Rachel. Since I'm pretty much done with my food, I'll probably be cutting off pretty soon anyway. But thank you for dropping in, and hope you get some good sleep tonight. Yeah, that would even be more to your advantage, because the dry ice will stay colder longer, and provided that it's packaged really well. That would be the best time to do it. Just like if you order rations from overseas, put your order in the fall. That way, if it takes a few months to get across the ocean, then you don't have to worry about it being exposed to the summer's heat when it's being shipped from the source to you. Well, we had rain last night, yesterday, and of course Friday we had the hail. So that little video clip that I put up of the hail, and then right after I shot that, I pulled my plants back away from the front of the deck so that they wouldn't get pinged so much. But I think my little herb pots took more of a hit, because I was looking at them this morning and some of them have broken off. So I might have lost a few of my little herb plants, but I only have the garlic chive coming up in one of those pots. But at least I tried. But my other ones, the other four seem to handle it pretty well. But I think we're supposed to get some more rain tonight. I'm going to check. According to this, well, it's sunny now, but this says doesn't want to 61% chance of rain, according to this one. It doesn't want to focus on it, probably because of the blue. But it's sunny out here right now, and it's 76 degrees. It looks like next chance of rain won't be till Wednesday. So for the past few days, I haven't been watering my plants. Yeah. It got up to 79 here. I don't think you can see that, but it doesn't want to focus on there. But 79 was our high today. But some other people here in Des Moines had larger hail than I did. One of my sisters posted tennis ball size hail. I mean, one of those would probably sit on top of this mug instead of go in it. And then another one posted probably hail that's just like it would just sit on top of my drinking jar, just go in it. And it dinged up her car. It didn't break any windows, but other people in the neighborhood had windows broken. But my sister, who posted the tennis ball size hail, yeah, if she was at home, her car's in the garage. And because it happened probably when she might have already either been off work or been off that day. But apparently, if it was outside at her workplace, it wasn't damaged. But yeah, I just had up to grape size. Oh, a lot of the auto glass places are going to be pretty busy here. And it's not just the auto glass. There might have even been houses with cracked windows, or businesses, or other buildings with cracked windows. But to lose a few herb plants, I'm not too concerned about that. And because I went ahead and pulled my plants back after I shot that video, the pots didn't get flooded out like it's happened before, and I've had to literally try to drain the water off the top. We had a little bit of rain last night, not a whole lot, but it did thunder. Now, earlier in the evening, we had heavier rain, but it still wasn't too bad. My weather radio didn't go off at all last night. So that's good. But anyway, we got some chances to dry out. At least our grass will be green. You know, when I went out to meet the Amazon delivery driver, you know, the grass in the yard is a whole lot greener than it has been, when it was so dry. But I'm hoping this will help with our drought situation here in Iowa. But some places got more rain than others, but nowhere near what the western states and BC up in Canada. They really need it bad. So if I could send some rain out that way, I would, but I can't do that. Yeah, that's what I was saying. You need the rain out there big time. One town, they have a town well, and it has literally run dry, or the pump just stopped working, and they have to wait who knows how much longer to get that fixed. So they're having to have water brought in just to meet their basic needs. That's how bad it is out there in California. And the wildfires are not making things any better. Yep, and of course, people who grow grapes for making wine, they're having issues. So that does not affect me personally because I don't buy wine. But for those that do buy California wines, there is going to be some issues down the road, because if the grapes don't fully develop, or the grapevines don't even fruit at all, the wineries are not gonna have a successful year. Or even those, whatever other crops are grown out there. Yeah, they're gonna have it bad. Yeah. Some are so bad that if they have a hydroelectric dam on it, the water flow is not there to spin the turbines to make the electricity. So that affects the power supply in those areas. So what I say about this one? Get it. This is a good menu. Now, the barbecue beef is really good. You don't even need the sauce. Yeah, I'll save this for another day. This cheese spread with jalapenos, I'll save that for another day. And because I use a Canadian hamburger bun instead of the tortillas, I'll save those for another day. Yep. Mine is a 2019 pack. And if yours is the same one, See, this one was packed by Sapaco, but they do the AmeriQual packing style with that inner bag. Yeah, I got mine from foreignmre.com. So you can, if you haven't tried this one, I would definitely get it. It's worth it. Like I said earlier, I have had the main by itself. And I've even had the black beans. But not in combination with the barbecue beef. So go to foreignmre.com and you can get this menu by itself if they still have any in stock. But it is worth it. Yep. Kind of like a Sloppy Joe, but with barbecue beef instead of ground beef in a slightly different sauce. And of course, as I always do, anything that I don't use, I save and add to my stash. You know, flameless ration heaters. I saved these because if there comes a time where I need to heat up a pouch or put one of these beverage bags in there with some hot water and a coffee, I can do it in here and not have to fire up my stove. Or in winter, you could use this as a body warmer. Because these things produce heat, you could use it as a body warmer. So that's another thing to think about. But anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead and close this one out so I can get my mess cleaned up. Again, next week I will bust into that cute little camo box that Booger Butt sent me. I'm looking forward to getting into that one. So thanks for watching and catch you on the flip side.